proteins are one of the most expensive parts of the family food budget. So we want to get them cooked right. And if you're going to saute, doesn't matter whether it's chicken, lamb, beef, fish, pork, seafood, and venison, the rules of the road are always the same. It's a technique. The first thing, of course, is get the pan hot. Let it get hot. The second thing is you want your protein dry. We like to teach salmon as a teaching tool for sauteing because it's one of the most delicate proteins. So it's been rinsed lightly with cold running water and dried. I have removed the skin from this to cook a little faster, and I've also removed the gray fatty tissue off the back of the salmon, which is where the heavy metals accumulate. So I never eat that part. You can always have your fishmonger clean that up for you and make sure it's not there, but you really don't want to eat it. It doesn't taste good anyway. Next, seasoning. I'm always going to season with my hands a little high. I'm going to move my hand around and rub the salt, and this is going to evenly distribute the salt. Pepper, of course, but most important is that the seasonings we're putting on here are dry. You can put other dry herbs, you can use different blends, you can do all kinds of rubs, anything you like. They have to be dry. That's the important thing. Oil. The right amount of oil is a very precise amount. You ready? It's enough to coat the bottom of the pan. There you go. And generously coat. Olive oil and olive oil only will tell you exactly when the pan's hot enough. I don't want to spit in it. I don't want to throw water in it. I want to make sure it's nice and hot. And olive oil has the lowest smoke point of any common oil that you'll have in your kitchen. Plus it tastes good and it's good for you. So what I'm going to wait for is the first faint ghostly whiff of smoke. Moisture is the problem with cooking fresh proteins. Moisture is what makes things stick to the pan. Moisture is why Teflon was invented. So if you have a hot pan, enough oil, and a dry product, you have no stick. The next thing that I did was to regulate the temperature based on the thickness of the product. Cooking times for proteins is not about how much they weigh, it's how thick they are. The thicker they are, the longer they take to cook. If it's this long and this big around, it takes the same amount of time as if this long and this big around. It's the thickness that matters. That's important. And the general rule of thumb is, for medium rare, 10 to 12 minutes per inch of thickness, 12 to 15 minutes for medium, and 15 to 18 minutes per inch of thickness for medium well. So, medium rare. I want my beef medium rare, at least I like it that way. I hope it comes out that way. I like my lamb medium rare, and I like my fish medium rare. If I go out to a restaurant and eat, I'm going to order my fish medium rare. If they don't ask me how I want to cook, I'll have a hamburger, or I'll have something else, because I probably know that they don't know how to cook it medium rare. Pork, medium. Again, 12 to 15 minutes per inch of thickness, about. And these are not contracts, these are ideas about cooking time. These are just ideas about how long it takes to cook. We're going to teach you in a minute how to tell it's done. And of course, chicken, our friend chicken, because everybody loves chicken, needs to be medium well, cooked all the way through, 12 to 15 minutes per inch of thickness. So, all those are the rules of the road, but it doesn't matter what you're sauteing, all this always applies. Right now, very important what I'm doing right now. Nothing. Leave it alone. Just let it cook. I don't want to play bumper cars with it. I don't want to move it around, and I'm not ready to flip it over. The next thing is I want to turn it over only once, and I want to turn it over when it's halfway cooked. So ask me, Dan, how do you know when it's halfway cooked? Go ahead and say, Dan, how do you know when it's halfway cooked? Because all proteins change color. So I'm looking at the sides. Beef goes from red to gray. Chicken goes from pink to white. Pork goes from pink to white. Salmon goes from that orange color to that funny salmon color when it's cooked, and I don't really know what to call it because I'm colorblind, but it changes color. So look at it. There it is. You can look at the sides, and you can see, hopefully, that right now it's about a third of the way up. So it's not ready to turn over yet. Let it cook. Don't play with it. That's the most important thing. When proteins cook, they firm. When connective tissue in proteins cooks, they soften. Which is why when you're cooking fish, why it was one of the most difficult proteins to cook, is that it flakes apart. And so if it's sticking to the pan, then it shreds when you're cooking it and you've got fish tacos. One of the things very important about fish is the fact that you want to hold it gently. You never want to grab it with a pair of tongs or anything like that. Just let it cook. The reason the moisture interferes with the cooking process is when moisture hits a hot pan, it steams, and it breaks the viscosity of the oil, and it causes the protein to stick. Because you have bare protein on bare metal, you have stick. You have a problem. Pork, chicken, beef, lamb, a little bit of moisture isn't going to cause any real trouble because it's also going to brown and create a nice crust on the outside and evaporate quickly. But fish is more delicate, which is why I always say if you can saute salmon, you can saute anything. So now our fish is just about halfway up. We're just going to let it cook. I know it's like, come on, I want to turn it, I want to play with it. I see people do this all the time. What are you doing? I'm playing with my food. Why? Because I don't know what else to do. Leave it alone. Let it cook. Be happy. It's doing just what it needs to do. And this is fresh fish. One of the most important things about fresh fish too is you don't want to overcook it. Oh, I don't like fish because it's fishy. It's only fishy if it's overcooked. So we're going to teach you how to do that when we turn it over. We're going to teach you how to get it just right. So now the color is about halfway up. This is a fish spatula. It's designed to pick up the entire piece of fish. You never want to grab a piece of fish with a pair of tongs. Now I want to turn over, so I just put a finger on it and turn it over, just like that. Give it a finger, flip it over. And there's that nice, beautiful brown color that we're looking to have on our fish. So with it turned over, because we have a nice bit of oil in there and the flour on the fish, again, no stick, just like Teflon. The last part, how do you know when it's done? And this, of course, is where people struggle. The first thing is I regulated the temperature based on the thickness. The longer something needs to cook, the lower I need to drop the temperature. If I have that pan too high, I'll burn the salmon before it cooks all the way through. So the thicker something is, the lower I'm going to drop the heat. The higher it is, the higher I'm going to keep the heat. I want a nice brown on both sides, but I want the inside done to my desires. That's the most important thing. Again, pork, chicken, beef, lamb, seafood, all these things have different desired donenesses. So, how do I know when it's done? Feel it. Or as I like to say, this is tuna, it's your problem. Beef, medium rare. Lamb, medium rare. Fish, medium rare. Pork, medium. Chicken and turkey, medium well. So when I'm feeling my fish, I want to feel through that crust and I want to feel some real firmness showing up. And I can feel the sides too, and I know it's there. And that's going to let me know that it's done. So out it comes. We're going to cut it in half so we can show you what we've done. And you'll see that is what is perfect medium rare on a piece of fish. Whether you have never even picked up a knife before, do all your cooking out of the microwave, or you've been cooking for years but want to really solidify your skills, we have classes for you. We have classes for all levels. We have great instructors who are passionate about sharing their knowledge. They'll make you a better cook, regardless of your skill level. We also, because of our 20th anniversary, we're featuring some of Denver's best chefs who are coming here on a weekly basis and teaching some of the most amazing food you'll ever see. Take that beautiful restaurant food and show you how to make it. We have something for everybody, but the most important part is we'll take the intimidation out of it, we'll make it work for you. So come join us and have a good time with us.